Surah 12, Ayah 3 through 5. We do relate unto you the most beautiful of stories, in that we reveal to you this portion of the Quran. Before this, you were among those who knew it not. Behold, Joseph said to his father, O my father, I did see 11 stars, and the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrate themselves to me. Said his father, My dear little son, relate not your vision to your brothers, or they will concoct a plot against you, for Shaitan is to man an avowed enemy. Jacob alayhi salam was a believer, for he was taught by his grandfather Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he knew how Shaitan can sow discord between family, much like he did with Cain and Abel. Also, even among family and friends, be careful how you relay good news, for Shaitan will look for any opening if jealousy is displayed. So be careful with who you share news with. Also, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless of if the news is good or bad, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears and knows all things. Prophet Ishaq, Isaac alayhi salam, had 2 sons, Esau and Yaqub, Jacob alayhi salam. It was narrated that Esau was jealous of Jacob alayhi salam, for he felt that Jacob alayhi salam was more favored by his father. A sentiment that would later circle in the life regarding one of his sons, Joseph alayhi salam. Jacob alayhi salam had more than one wife, and that afforded him many children. 2 of the 12 had a different mother, and that was a source of tension between the brothers. As the sons of Rachel, Yusuf alayhi salam, and Benjamin alayhi salam, in the eyes of their stepbrothers, were favored by their father. Similar to the sibling rivalry between Cain and Abel, Joseph alayhi salam and his brothers also had added tension. Joseph alayhi salam had a dream one night. In his dream, he saw 11 stars, the sun and the moon, prostrating to him. He told his father of his dream, and Jacob alayhi salam realized that his son had a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He told his son to keep that dream close to his chest. The story of Joseph alayhi salam is told in full in the Holy Quran, and one that is told in its entirety from the beginning to the end, whereas other surahs in the Holy Quran were revealed to Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings be upon him, in parts. The reason was, the Jews asked Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings be upon him, to tell them about Joseph alayhi salam. His story had been distorted. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the story in its entirety to protect Joseph alayhi salam's name and prophethood. It's one of my favorite stories, and this is one of the most beautiful, detailed, and fascinating stories of a beautiful Nabi. I have a favor to ask you. If you can, real quick, hit the follow button wherever you're getting this podcast, so you'll be notified when I drop a new episode. Also, like, comment, and share, because sharing is caring. Thank you. Hello, and welcome back to The Conversation Piece with your host, Akila. Surah 12, Ayah 8 through 18. His brothers said, Truly Joseph and his brother are more loved than our father than we, but we are a goodly body. Really our father is obviously wondering in his mind. Slay Joseph, or cast him out to some unknown land, so the favor of your father may be given to you alone. There will be soon time enough for you to be righteous after that. Said one of them, Slay not Joseph, but if you must do something, throw him down the bottom of a well. He will be picked up by some caravan of travelers. They said, O our father, why do you not trust Joseph with us, seeing we are indeed his sincere well-wishers? Send him with us tomorrow to enjoy himself and play, and we shall take every good care of him. Jacob said, Really it saddens me that you should take him one way. I fear the case the wolf should devour him while you don't attend to him. They said, If the wolf were to devour him while we were so large a party, then should we indeed first have perished ourselves. So they took him away, and they all agreed to throw him down the bottom of the well. And we put into Joseph's heart this message: of a surety, you shall one day tell the truth of this affair, while they know you not. Then they came to their father in the early part of the night, weeping. They said, O our father, we went racing one with another, and left Joseph with our things, and a wolf devoured him. But you will never believe us, even if we tell the truth. They stained his shirt with false blood. Jacob said, No, but your minds have made up a tale that may pass with you. For me, patience is most fitting. Against that which you assert, it is Allah alone whose help can be sought. The shirt of Joseph alayhi salam is a thread throughout his story. Jacob alayhi salam was taught by his grandfather, Ibrahim alayhi salam, who was known for his patience. So Jacob alayhi salam had the assurance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep faith that one day his son Joseph alayhi salam would return to him. Also at the same time, Joseph alayhi salam had the assurance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that one day he would tell his brothers the story of their betrayal. The brothers wanted Joseph alayhi salam gone so they could receive more favor from their father. They sold and discarded him. They did not recognize his worth. Surah 12, Ayat 20. The brethren sold him for a miserable price, for a few dirhams counted out. In such low estimation did they hold him. Surah 12, Ayat 19. Then there came a caravan of travelers. They sent a water carrier for water, and he let down his bucket into the well. He said, Ah there, good news! Here's a fine young man. So they concealed him as a treasure, but Allah knew well all that they do. Joseph alayhi salam was sold to the Aziz in Egypt. Surah 12, Ayat 21. The man in Egypt who bought him said to his wife, Make his stay among us honorable. Maybe he'll bring us much good, or we shall adopt him as a son. Thus did we establish Joseph in the land, that we might teach him the interpretation of stories and events. And Allah has full power and control over his affairs, but most among mankind know it not. Surah 12, Ayat 22. When Joseph attained his full manhood, we gave him power and knowledge. Thus do we reward those who do right. Joseph alayhi salam was reported to have been extremely good looking, and the wife of Aziz noticed. She was attracted to him and sought to seduce him. But Joseph alayhi salam deflected her advances. He sought the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Surah 12, Ayat 23 through 27. But she, in whose house he was, sought to seduce him from his true self. She fastened the doors and said, Now come, you dear one. Joseph said, Allah forbid. Truly your husband is my Lord. He made my sojourn agreeable. Truly no good comes to those who do wrong. And with passion did she desire him, and he would have desired her, but that he saw the evidence of his Lord. Thus do we order that we might turn away from him all evil and shameful deeds, for he was one of our servants, sincere and purified. So they both raced each other to the door, and she tore his shirt from the back. They both found her Lord near the door. She said, What is a fitting punishment for one who formed an evil design against your wife, but prison or a grievous chastisement? Joseph said, It was she that sought to seduce me from my true self. And one of her household saw this and bore witness. If it be that his shirt is rent from the front, then her tale is true, and he is the liar. But if his shirt is torn from the back, then she is the liar, and he is truthful. The shirt of Joseph alayhi salam is a thread throughout his story. His shirt was torn from the back, and the Aziz chastised his wife for her devious scheme. Even though Joseph alayhi salam was found to be innocent, his name and reputation was being judged throughout the kingdom. The wife was gossiped about as well. The wife of the Aziz heard about the rumors and arranged for a banquet for the ladies of the city. She purposely had sharp knives placed therein. Surah 12, Ayah 30 through 31. Ladies said in the city, The wife of the great Aziz is seeking to seduce her slave from his true self. Truly has he inspired her with violent love. We see she is evidently going astray. When she heard of their malicious talk, she sent for them and prepared a banquet for them. She gave each of them a knife and said to Joseph, "Come out before them." Joseph alayhi salam was still a servant of the household, and she called for him. Upon looking on Joseph alayhi salam, the women cut their hands in their excitement. He is not human, he is an angel. Surah 12, Ayah 31. When they saw him, they did extol him, and in their excitement cut their hands. They said, "Allah preserve us. No mortal is this. This is none other than a noble angel." Surah 12, Ayah 32. There before you is the man about whom you did blame me. I did seek to seduce him from his true self, but he did firmly save himself guiltless. And now, if he does not my bidding, he shall certainly be cast into prison, and what is more, be of the company of the vilest. She threatened him with jail. Joseph alayhi salam made a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to save him from sin, save him from her, save him from his own desires, and if jail was salvation, then so be it. Joseph alayhi salam was sent to jail. Surah 12, Ayah 33. Joseph said, "O my Lord, the prison is more to my liking than that to which they invite me. Unless you turn away their snare from me, I should in my youthful folly feel inclined towards them and join the ranks of the ignorant." The Aziz agreed to imprison Joseph alayhi salam for a period of time. While in prison, Joseph alayhi salam encountered prisoners who needed their dreams interpreted. He used his talents and blessings bestowed upon him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to call them towards the faith. Surah 12, Ayah 36. Said one of them, "I see myself in a dream pressing wine." Said the other, "I see myself in a dream carrying bread on my head, and birds are eating thereof." "Tell us," they said, "the truth and meaning thereof, for we see you are one that does good to all." Joseph alayhi salam made a judgment call on the one who would be free, and asked him to mention him to his Lord. But Shaitan caused a freed prisoner to forget, and Joseph alayhi salam spent a few more years in prison. The Conversation Piece podcast can now be found on YouTube. Go to www.youtube.com/@Akilah B. Lynch, AQUILABLINCH. The king had a dream that shook him deeply. He called among his people for counsel and interpretation, but no one succeeded. The king's cupbearer remembered about Joseph alayhi salam and asked the king if he can go and consult Joseph alayhi salam about the king's dream. Surah 12, Ayah 46. O Joseph, O man of truth, expound to us the dream of 7 fat kine whom 7 lean ones devour, and of 7 green ears of corn and 7 others withered, that I may return to the people and that they may understand. Joseph alayhi salam interpreted the dream, and the message made its way back to the king, who was impressed. He asked to meet with him. Surah 12, Ayah 50. Bring him to me. But when the messenger came to him, Joseph said, Go back to your Lord and ask him, what is the state of mind of the ladies who cut their hands? For my Lord is certainly well aware of their snare. Joseph alayhi salam knew his innocence, as well as the Aziz. Joseph alayhi salam went to prison willingly to remove himself from harm and temptation. He wanted his name cleared. Surah 12, Ayah 52. Joseph said, I asked for this inquiry in order that the Al-Aziz may know that I betrayed him not in secret, and verily Allah guides not the plot of the betrayers. Surah 12, Ayah 51. The king said to the ladies, What was your affair when you did seek to seduce Joseph from his true self? The ladies said, Allah preserve us. We know no evil of him. Said the Aziz's wife, Now is the truth manifest to all. It was I who sought to seduce him from his true self. He is indeed of those who are ever true and virtuous. Joseph alayhi salam was freed from prison, and he knew of the importance of agriculture in which the country needed to preserve, and impressed upon the king to put him in charge of the grain house. Surah 12, Ayah 56. Thus, did we establish power to Joseph in the land, to take possession thereof as where and when he pleased. We bestow of our mercy on whom we please, and we suffer not to be lost the reward of those who do good. The drought came and affected the region, even the region of Joseph's family. His brothers, the same ones who threw him into the well as a youth, now had to seek out grain and provisions for the family. This brought them face to face with their brother, Joseph alayhi salam. We plan, and Allah plans. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners. Joseph alayhi salam knew them, but they knew him not. Surah 12, Ayah 58. They came, Joseph's brethren. They entered his presence, and he knew them, but they knew him not. Joseph alayhi salam devised a system in the grain house. Anyone seeking provisions must be present at the time of distribution. That was fair and held all parties accountable and honest. So, his brothers were a party of 10, but were seeking provisions for 11. Joseph alayhi salam started to ask them about their family, as rations for 10 were being given out. They mentioned to him that they have another brother who was not present with them. Joseph alayhi salam knew that the person missing in their party was his brother, Benjamin. Surah 12, Ayah 59. And when he had furnished them with provisions suitable for them, he said, "Bring me a brother you have, of the same father as yourselves, but a different mother. See you not that I pay out full measure, and that I do provide the best hospitality? Now if you bring him not to me, you shall not have no more measure of corn for me, nor will you be able to come near me." Joseph alayhi salam also returned their trade with them, so they had more than what they arrived with. The brethren informed Jacob alayhi salam of their circumstance. If they were to receive full measure, Benjamin must accompany them on their return trip back to Egypt. Jacob alayhi salam reminded his sons that this request was asked of him regarding another brother of theirs, Joseph alayhi salam. Why would he entrust Benjamin with them in the same manner that he entrusted them with Joseph alayhi salam? Surah 12, Ayah 64. Jacob said, "Shall I trust you with him with any result other than when I trusted you with his brother aforetime? But Allah is the best to care for him, and he is the most merciful of those who show mercy." Jacob alayhi salam was a believer. He made his sons swear by Allah that nothing bad would happen to Benjamin. Surah 12, Ayat 66. Jacob said, "Never will I send you with him until you swear a solemn oath to me, in Allah's name, that you will be sure to bring him back to me unless you are yourselves hemmed in or made powerless." And when they had sworn their solemn oath, he said, "Over all that we say, be Allah the witness and guardian." Jacob alayhi salam also advised his sons to enter through different gates, as they were such a large party, and not to draw undue attention to themselves. Surah 12, Ayah 67. O my sons, enter not all by one gate, enter by different gates. Not that I can profit you anything against Allah with my advice. None can command except Allah. On him do I put my trust, and let all the trust put their trust on him. Surah 12, Ayah 68. And when they entered in the manner their father had enjoined, it did not profit them in the least against the plan of Allah. Joseph alayhi salam sees his brothers, including Benjamin. He had beforehand concocted a plan to secure his full brother Benjamin and informed him of his identity. His other brothers still were left in the dark. Surah 12, Ayah 69. And when they entered upon Joseph, he took his brother to himself and said, "Indeed I am your brother, so do not despair over what they used to do to me." Joseph alayhi salam plotted against his stepbrothers in a manner similar to how he was plotted against, but Benjamin was a part of the plot. Joseph alayhi salam accused Benjamin of theft, Surah 12, Ayat 70 through 76. So when he had furnished them with their supplies, he put the gold measuring bowl into his brother's bag. Then an announcer cried out, "O caravan, indeed you are thieves!" They said while approaching them, "What is it you're missing?" They said, "We are missing the measure of the king, and for the person who produces it is the reward of a camel's load, and I am responsible for it." They said, "By Allah, you have certainly known that we did not come to cause corruption in the land, and we have not been thieves." The accuser said, "Then what would be its recompense if you should be liars?" The brother said, "Its recompense is that, and he whose bag it is found should be held as bondsmen to atone for the crime. Thus do we recompense the wrongdoers." So he began the search with their bags before his brother's bag. Then he extracted it from his brother's bag. Thus did we plan for Joseph. He could not have taken his brother within the religion of the king except that Allah willed. We raise in degrees whom we will, but over all endued with knowledge is one, the all-knowing. It was found in Benjamin's bag, and their brothers quickly turned on him. The parallels between Joseph and Benjamin. The stepbrothers always felt that their father Jacob alayhi salam loved Joseph alayhi salam more than them. As a youth, a plan was hatched to do away with him. He was thrown down a well, discovered, thought of as worthless, sold, was in the king's household and was mistreated by the wife of the Aziz. He resisted, and as a result was thrown into prison while being innocent of the crime. He was forgotten about for several years, finally freed after his name was cleared. He was then elevated to one of the most powerful positions in the kingdom. He reunited with his brother, who was now being falsely accused of a crime he did not commit. But Joseph alayhi salam this time held the trump card. Benjamin was falsely accused of a crime, and his stepbrothers dismissed him and tossed him aside, as if symbolically throwing Benjamin down a well, dismissed him of his value by saying that Benjamin also had a brother who was a thief. Surah 12, Ayat 77. The brother said, "If he steals, there was a brother of his who did steal before him." But these things did Joseph keep locked in his heart, revealing not the secrets to them. He simply said to himself, "You are the worst situated, and Allah knows best the truth of what you assert." The brethren remembered that they made an oath to their father to not lose Benjamin. Their father lost one son. He wouldn't recover losing another. He wouldn't forgive them for this loss. Surah 12, Ayat 78. They said, "O Exalted One, behold, he has a father, aged and vulnerable, who will grieve for him. So take one of us in his place, for we see that you are gracious in doing good." Surah 12, Ayat 79. Joseph said, "Allah forbid that we take other than him with whom we found our property. Indeed, if we did so, we should be acting wrongfully." The sons of Jacob alayhi salam returned to their father and informed him that Benjamin was being held for atonement for the crime of theft, and they were helpless in getting him to return with them. Jacob alayhi salam was a firm believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knew he needed to remain steadfast and patient, even at the expense of his health. He cried so much that he became blind. He held on to the assurance that his sons would return to him. The dream of Joseph alayhi salam had not materialized yet. Surah 12, Ayah 83 through 86. Jacob said, "No, but you have yourselves contrived a story good enough for you. So patience is most fitting for me. Maybe Allah will bring them all back to me in the end, for he is indeed full of knowledge and wisdom." And he turned away from them and said, "How great is my grief for Joseph." And his eyes became white with sorrow, and he fell into silent melancholy. The brother said, "By Allah, never will you cease to remember Joseph until you reached the last extremity of illness or until you die." Jacob said, "I only complain of my distraction and anguish to Allah, and I know from Allah that which you not know." He sent his sons back to Egypt to go and inquire about Joseph alayhi salam and Benjamin, and they were to humble themselves as to impress upon the hearts of those who would perhaps show them mercy. Surah 12, Ayah 87. "O my sons, go you and inquire about Joseph and his brother, and never give up hope of Allah's soothing mercy. Truly no one despairs of Allah's soothing mercy except those who have no faith." The brothers were back in the presence of Joseph alayhi salam. but they still did not recognize him. They were in a desperate circumstance, as they didn't have much to barter with in trade. Surah 12, Ayah 88. When they came back into Joseph's presence, they said, O Exalted One, distress has seized us and our family. We have now brought but scanty capital, so pay us full measure. We pray you and treat it as charity to us, for Allah does reward the charitable. The brothers humbled themselves and asked for full measure, even though Benjamin was now in the custody of the Egyptians accused of theft. Joseph alayhi salam asked them bluntly, Surah 12, Ayah 89, Do you know what you did with Joseph and his brother when you were ignorant? The question took his brothers by surprise. Surah 12, Ayah 90. They said, Are you Joseph? Joseph said, I am Joseph, and this is my brother. Allah has indeed been gracious to us all. Behold, he that is righteous and patient, never will Allah suffer the reward to be lost of those who do right. The brothers had to reckon with the fact that they were wrong in their actions when they took him as a child. Now they looked upon Joseph alayhi salam as a man, an Aziz, a person with authority who was elevated above them. Surah 12, Ayat 91. They said, By Allah, indeed has Allah preferred you above us, and we certainly have been guilty of sin. Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, chooses wisely among his creation those who will be Nabi. Joseph alayhi salam could have easily held this act against his brothers. He did not. He forgave them. Surah 12, Ayat 92. Joseph said, This day, let no blame be cast on you. Allah will forgive you, and he is the most merciful of those who show mercy. The shirt of Joseph alayhi salam is a thread throughout his story. Joseph alayhi salam thought of his father, how he longed to see him again. Surah 12, Ayat 93. Take this my shirt, and cast it over the face of my father. He will come to see clearly, and bring me your family all together. The last time Jacob alayhi salam was given a shirt of Joseph alayhi salam, the brothers doused it with fake blood, and he was aggrieved. This shirt was different. It was a means of hope and reward for his patience and constancy in his faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Surah 12, Ayat 94. When the caravan departed from Egypt, their father said, Indeed, I find the smell of Joseph. Do not think of me a dotard. Jacob alayhi salam sensed Joseph alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevates some more than others in ways we can't understand. The caravan that carried the shirt of Joseph alayhi salam was placed over him, and his eyesight was returned to him. Surah 12, Ayat 96. Then, when the bearer of good news came, he cast the shirt over his face, and he regained clear sight. He said, Did I not say to you, I know from Allah that which you know not? Surah 12, Ayat 97. They said, O our Father, ask for us forgiveness for our sins, for we are truly at fault. Surah 12, Ayat 98. He said, Soon will I ask my Lord for forgiveness for you, for he is indeed often forgiving, most merciful. With his entire family in his presence, Joseph alayhi salam's dream and life came full circle. Surah 12, Ayat 100. And Joseph raised his parents upon the throne, and they bowed to him in prostration. And he said, O my father, this is the explanation of my vision of before. My Lord has made it a reality, and he was certainly good to me when he took me out of the prison and brought you here from Bedouin life, after Shaitan had induced estrangement between me and my brothers. Indeed, my Lord is subtle in what he wills. Indeed, it is he who is knowing, the wise. Those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses are never too proud or ungrateful to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for their trials that result in failure and success. The patience of both Joseph alayhi salam and Jacob alayhi salam was truly remarkable. Surah 12, Ayat 101. My Lord, you have given me something of sovereignty and taught me the interpretation of dreams. Creator of the heavens and the earth, you are my protector in this world and in the hereafter. Cause me to die a Muslim and join me with the righteous. Ameen. That was the beautiful story of Joseph alayhi salam from the Holy Quran. Surah 12, Ayat 1 through 3. Aleph, Lam, Ra. These are the verses of the clear book. Indeed, we sent it down as an Arabic Quran that you might understand. We relate to you, O Muhammad, the best of stories and what we have revealed to you of this Quran, although you were, before it, among the unaware. Before Jacob alayhi salam passed, he advised his children to hold on to the teachings of Islam, the religion of all the prophets. Surah 2, Ayat 133. Or were you witnesses when death approached Jacob, when he said to his sons, "What will you worship after me?" They said, "We will worship your God and the God of your fathers, Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac, one God. To him we bow in Islam." It is narrated that Joseph alayhi salam, upon his death, asked to be buried next to his forefathers. On the next episode, the Nabi associated with this idiom, the patience of Job, the prophet Ayub, Job alayhi salam. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Conversation Piece Podcast. I am your humble host, Akila, requesting that you join me again. So, until then, be safe, love and value yourself so that you can love and value others. I bid you adieu with the greeting, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you.